Veganism.
All right.
Take 4. Wally 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 World.
Cheers. Hey you guys, welcome back to week 5 of my vegan journey. So I missed week 4. It was a long week. I know. But I'm back now in week 5, and I have a friend here with me, Ayo Cherry. Welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us about you. She likes wine.
I like wine. We like wine. My name is Ayo. I'm a private chef. I live in Los Angeles. I am from Tallahassee, Florida. And today I'm just here with Kendra to talk a little bit about her vegan journey, give her some product ideas for how to make it easier, because it's not as difficult as you may think.
Yes, she keeps me on point. We are going to start, as always, with what I have been eating over these past 2 weeks. I found some really, really good recipes. First of which are some vegan pancakes. And these were super, super easy. I found the recipe on Pinterest, as I do a lot of things. Everything is on Pinterest. And it was like 5 ingredients. It was flour, baking powder, salt, sugar. I added some seasonings because...
You added seasoning to pancakes? Like spicy?
Like spicy.
Okay.
Is it different?
I think spices just always denotes like a cinnamon, nutmeg, things like pumpkin spice is like, you know, like a spice, whereas like when you season it, you think like salt.
Garlic.
Yeah.
Garlic.
Salt. Yeah. Like when you seasoning, you think like savory stuff. That's why I was like, you season them?
See, she be teaching me stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I spiced it.
You did spice them.
I
It's
spiced
true.
my pancakes.
You spiced them, yeah.
But no, I had cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, vanilla, just something to give it some flavor.
Okay.
Yeah, and they were pretty good. It was super easy. Oh, and I added bananas
Love that.
to those. That was really good for just an easy breakfast. We have talked about cauliflower before. As I mentioned a few weeks ago, this is the person that I was referring to that
I was so mad.
relentlessly went in on me for using frozen cauliflower.
So bad.
So I stopped.
It was so bad. Frozen vegetables in general just aren't great. I mean, I get if you live somewhere, because sometimes like that's all you can get is like frozen or canned vegetables, and if that's where you live, you know, food deserts are a real thing. I absolutely get that. But if you live somewhere like California and you have year-round access to fresh vegetables, affordable fresh veggies, there's no reason for this woman to be purchasing frozen cauliflower and then trying to fry it.
Well, I baked it. But I don't know if that's better. So, okay,
So tired.
this is a good question though. If you live somewhere where you don't have access to these things, you have to use frozen vegetables, how can you make it so that it's not a disaster?
I would have defrosted them all the way first.
Step 1.
You need to do something to remove all the water that is added to something when they freeze it. You fry it, all that liquid is going to come out. And I do not think you're going to get a crispy product no matter what. If it's, no matter what, if it's frozen.
Maybe the tip is just don't fry it.
The tip is to not buy frozen vegetables if you don't have to. If you don't have to. If you have to buy frozen veggies, honestly, then you could probably buy like buffalo cauliflower already frozen and ready to go.
So I bought fresh cauliflower and also found a recipe on Pinterest for barbecue cauliflower. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing as buffalo with just barbecue sauce.
Did you make it?
I did.
Did you use fresh cauliflower?
I did.
Step 1.
And it was good. So, if you're vegan and you really want a burger that is just juicy and delicious, there are 2 main choices right now. You have Impossible Burger
And a
Beyond Burger. If you wanted to taste like a beef burger, there are tons of other like veggie burgers, bean, and all kind of stuff. But if you want a true, like, taste like meat, beef burger, Impossible, Beyond.
Like a transitional burger. Basically.
Yes. Both of which I had not tried because I've heard that they weren't necessarily good for you because they're artificial ingredients, blah, 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 blah. This weekend I have to try both. And the Impossible Burger, so good.
Yeah, no, they're delicious.
That burger, actually, I ate it here.
You did eat it here.
So good.
Loud.
The Beyond Burger was pretty good too.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually thicker.
Mm-hmm.
But that Impossible Burger was so good.
Impossible tastes the best, as with most things, but Beyond is better for you. Which is, I think, just a trend across the board, unfortunately, for a lot of things. The Beyond Burger tastes like it's made with vegetables. You know,
it's kind of grainy.
It's grainy. You get that beet taste in it. Like, you can taste the ingredients, which, if you're like a real veg head, isn't that bad a thing. But if you're looking for a transitional burger, Impossible is probably a better step into veganism. But I do say transitional because if your goal is to eat less meat, then like all of those, the fake burgers, the fake everything, typically just isn't the greatest for you in general.
Last on the recipe side was two things that I tried. So back up. Even before being vegan, I didn't eat beef. So there was no steak, there was beef stew, just kind of those hearty things that had beef in them. I didn't eat them anyway. So when I became vegan, which I guess I could have done before, but I didn't, and started replacing those things with mushrooms, I felt like it opened me up to different options to substitute those things with mushrooms. Two things that I tried. One was a mushroom and polenta, and then the other was mushrooms and risotto. Really hearty, have a really good sauce with them. It just wasn't to the recipes that I made. And I think it was because, one, I didn't have the insight to know what kind of extra seasonings to add to them because I haven't eaten them in so long. So when usually if I look at a recipe, I'm like, okay, cool, got that. I'm gonna add this because I know it's gonna taste good. I'm take this out because I don't like that. I didn't have that insight with those recipes because I haven't eaten these in so long. And it was just like, my question for you is, what kind of seasonings and extra things are out there to add to make those more delectable, I guess?
Edible. So, to make them edible. I think the number one issue I see with a lot of my clients, a lot of issues I see with a lot of my clients is like the transition phase makes it almost impossible to do it. As an avid meat eater, I'm from the country, I eat everything. So as an avid meat eater, I do think it's hard to make that transition from like eating everything to like, okay, you've cut out red meat and now you've cut out chicken and now you want to cut out like meat, animal protein in general and become vegan. So then it's like, okay, how do you not like shell shock yourself? And what I always tell people is you have to do it step by step. I would say the things I do to make those things more useful is you have to look for products, right? And the reason a lot of people don't go vegan is because you have to buy a whole slew of new everything for your kitchen. Everything. And then I think the natural inclination is to do the exact same thing I would do, but use vegan cheese instead of regular cheese. To use almond milk instead of regular milk. But texturally is different, flavor-wise is different. You won't get the same thing, and now your vegan journey has lasted 3 days and you're over it. You're done.
That's true. And that's one thing I didn't want to do because things like, I'm not really picky about texture, but things like cheese and meats, those were things texturally that I was like, okay, I can't just do a one-for-one swap. So that's why I started looking for those vegan recipes, but I think a lot of them just lack the seasoning that you need to still make it like taste good. Grocery shopping for vegan items is not your stock up Walmart trip. It's not Vons, it's not Rouse. It is, you have to map things things out a lot more. You have to buy totally different ingredients because all of your staples are different.
Yeah.
And it's
like learning a second language almost.
Yeah. You have a new standard for everything.
You're in a grocery store, you're reading labels now. It takes forever. You no longer going to Bonds and Ralph's, now you're going to Sprouts. You're going to Whole Foods. You got to go to Trader Joe's and make sure, like, you have to go to, like, specialty stores now, which costs more, too.
It definitely costs more. I think that it's kind of a trade-off for me. Like, you spend more on most things, but where you save is because I'm not buying, like, 3 pounds of chicken, but you are spending some of that money on.
But now you're right, and now your milk went from being what, like, milk might be $2-3.99 a gallon, whereas now you're buying like one of these, which is like $5.
Yeah. The plus though is that a lot of these things don't go bad.
Yeah, because they don't have animal products.
Yes, that is something I really, really like. Because now you don't have the short expiration dates on stuff.
Yeah. Whereas milk goes bad in what, like a week? Or not a week, but like,
maybe
like 2-3 weeks.
Whereas almond milk, it takes like 2 months.
Yeah.
Some really good products that we wanted to recommend and talk about are a few things that we have here today.
Okay, so I by no means am a vegan expert. There's this amazing restaurant here called Crossroads by Chef Tyrone. It is one of the best restaurants, period, in LA. Vegan restaurant, sure, but just restaurant in general. Like, I could take you there. I told you about it. You're always too busy, as am I. Fine. But it's one of the best vegan restaurants in LA. You would never know that it's vegan if I didn't tell you. It's that good. It's amazing. I have read Crossroads cover to cover. So, a few of these items I learned from reading that cookbook, and a few of these items I've used, all of these items I've used consistently for my clients as well. So my hands down favorite to cook with for veganism is the Ripple Half and Half. And the reason I like the Ripple Half and Half and not just the Ripple milk is because this reduces down, not exactly like, but very, very, very similar to like a heavy cream. It's still a little bit looser than a heavy cream, but I do not think, as far as I know, there is a vegan alternative to heavy cream yet. But I put this in things, I reduce it. It has a slight taste, but nothing overpowering. Whereas I have had clients who want to be vegan, but they don't like coconut, and they have a tree nut allergy, so they can't have almond milk either. So this is another alternative because it's made from peas. It's pea milk. And it gets really thick. It has like a nice velvety texture. I've made caramel with it. I've used it to make sauces to go on my chicken and then reduce it. I made a roux, and that's a really good way to make a thick, creamy sauce. So, speaking of roux, this is the best vegan butter on the market, hands down. Earth Balance is amazing. It has to be the sticks. It tastes like butter. It cooks like butter. I use it to make roux. This and this in tandem I use to thicken almost any sauce that I want to feel creamy. And I just think it's amazing. This one, not the carton. The carton is mostly oil.
Does it have a cheese, the brand?
I don't know if Earth Balance has a cheese. I only have one vegan cheese I like. Literally one. No. Follow Your Heart and just the Parmesan. That is the only vegan cheese I like. I don't like any other of the other ones. As someone who's fitting with cheese, I can't. I've had some that get melty per se, but they don't, the flavor, they don't taste
That's
like
the
cheese.
hardest, and that's probably what stopped me before now was cheese. That's the hardest thing.
Yeah, I couldn't give up cheese. Oh, actually, I'm lying. If you live in LA, the best, hands down, best spreadable vegan cheese is by it's an artisan cheese company. It's called Blood Kuh, BLODE space KUH. And they do delivery. You can catch them at the Farmers Market in Hollywood on Sundays, I believe. So outside of that, we have nutritional yeast, which when you mentioned risotto, I instantly thought of this because I think when you're making something, especially something as picky as risotto, like something that's specific, you want the cheesy flavor, but risotto isn't super cheesy, right? It's not mac and cheese. It doesn't typically give you like very much of a cheese pull. So I think it's a perfect candidate for these two guys. I would make it, I'd add some of this to give it that creaminess, let it reduce down, cook it in there. make my own veggie stock. Make yourself a really, really good veggie stock. As a vegan, you are going to need it. You can buy store-bought ones, and then I would just fortify them. You can roast down some onions, you can roast some bell peppers, and you can put all of that in a pot with water. Veggie stock, unlike beef stock, as soon as it comes up to a boil, turn it off, strain it, done.
Oh, really?
That's it.
So don't have to sit there?
No, like, you know when I make my chicken stock, I let it sit for like 14 hours, and my beef stock, I let it sit for like 18 hours. No, you don't have to do any of that. No. Once it comes up to the boil, all your vegetables will give you a finger out. They're done.
You can try that.
Yeah, and it adds so much to any dish. So use a little veggie stock, or use one of these, and then I would use this to give your risotto that creamy, cheesy taste.
So then the same thing though with polenta.
With the mushroom polenta?
Yeah.
What was the issue with the polenta?
It just wasn't flavorful. Like I've had polenta at like restaurants, and it was like creamy and just flavorful. It was more so just like
you need butter.
Cornmeal.
You need butter. I think that's what you need. I don't. Polenta's great. I never really grab polenta because what about polenta when grits are right there? So I'm more of a grit person. Polenta is a finer grind, if I'm not mistaken, and corn grits are like the long. I prefer grits because texturally, I think you just get a little bit more from grits. But I would just go with something that tastes just like butter. It tastes just like butter. It makes no sense. I would add that to it, and then I would just season it however you normally season it. And if you want a little bit of cheesiness, then yeah, I would still go with the nutritional yeast. The last product I'm actually fairly new to using, but I have a client who doesn't eat. She's not vegan, but she doesn't eat dairy whatsoever. And the biggest issue for me was finding something so I could make, like, she likes chocolate covered strawberry. She likes, Mama loves the Pizookie, like that kind of thing. And I discovered this brand, and these are actually like pretty good. I was worried that they're semi-sweet, so I was worried that they wouldn't be sugary enough. I did add a little sugar the first time, but they don't really need it per se, depending on what you're doing. But I actually really like these. If you're a sweet person, this is my favorite chocolate to use for vegan clients.
Where'd you get it from?
I think it was from Target.
Really?
Yeah, they sell it at Target. They sell this at Ralph's. Almost any grocery store. It's called Enjoy Life. You can get it on Amazon too.
One of the other things that I've been searching for was sweet and like good desserts. And so far, the only thing that I have found were egg muffins at Whole Foods. One night, I had egg muffins, chocolate chip muffins, and Ben & Jerry's non-dairy chocolate flavor.
Oh, is it good?
I warmed up the muffin.
Oh, listen, let me tell you something. Ripple, that vanilla ice cream, seriously, could give Breyers a run for their money. I'm not even kidding. That ice cream is fabulous. It is the most delicious dairy-free ice cream I've ever had. They sell it at Whole Foods, and they have it at Sprouts too. I think that's it. It kind of has to be one of those like healthier stores, but it is like good. It is good.
I'm making myself happy.
Yeah, it's good. It's a little more expensive. It's like a little blue pint, but it's so good. Like a Ripple, man.
I'm excited. I'm here for Ripple.
I love Ripple.
I've literally tried none of it so far, but I'm here for it.
So here for Ripple.
Also, I had the vegan blue cheese, which was, I thought, really good. I had it when I made the buffalo cauliflower. It was so good.
I have so many questions. So, did it have chunks?
I probably know none of them, but
did it have chunks?
I don't remember.
So I'm an avid blue cheeser, especially the dressing, and I need to know what the chunks are. I need to know what they're made of. If they have like that good gorgonzola funk, I'm like, great, where'd you get the funk?
I don't think it had chunks.
Yeah.
But it tasted like blue cheese to the point where I didn't even notice it didn't have chunks. And it wasn't...
You said follow your heart blue cheese?
Yes.
I'm gonna try that.
It was so good. It made me forget that there was supposed to be chunks.
I would never forget that.
It was good.
The chunks are my favorite part.
So that's the crazy thing, like me too. Right. But when I had it, literally didn't. It was great. Oh, and then last thing, these vegan veggie fries. Now they're made by Mixed Root Veggie. Mixed Root is the brand.
Okay.
They're veggie fries with carrots, parsnips, beets, all mixed up. So they're different colors. They're kind of fun. They are so good. I found actually they have these at home.
I can't. I have no. I believe you. I just have no basis for this conversation because I absolutely refuse to buy things I have to ingest in Walmart.
And I think what they're noticing, and this is the brand manager part of me from the past 5 weeks, so Walmart. I think they're noticing this shift and that people care what's in their food now, because the days of like just throwing them some, you know, whatever.
Throwing your kids some chicken nuggets and ramen like our parents did to us.
Yes, just throwing you whatever because it was cheap. People don't want that anymore. So I'm noticing they're setting aside more and more space, at least 12 to 16 feet of just for vegan / gluten-free, all natural things.
Okay.
Which is interesting. And the thing, anyway, they're getting with the times more and more, especially I think, and this might be an LA thing, because
it has to be, you know, because
there's so much more competition.
Because Wally World. Does anybody remember the hit single?
What?
You've never heard the song? The hit single, Wally World. He shot the video in a Walmart.
Who?
We'll show Kendra this video afterwards, and then she can post a reaction to it. I cannot wait to show you this video.
What?
It's a music video.
Where?
In Walmart.
But I mean, like, what? Like,
what I just said is the chorus. Wally World. You're gonna be so thrilled.
Yeah. Moving on. Okay. So how I felt over these last 2 weeks. So this is something that has been an ongoing issue for me, is remembering to eat. I've talked about it probably every single week I make these videos, but I get busy, start working, go somewhere, and look up at 2, 3, 4 o'clock, and I have not eaten anything.
So much so that I purchased an app to schedule a text message to Miss Green that says, please eat something. Every day at 1 p.m. she gets a text that says, please eat something. Please.
This is what triggered this text message. What I'm also realizing, and I think this is just my body adjusting to, like you said earlier, if you just make a change like this out of the blue, abruptly, your body has to catch up. And I think my body is doing that because I've started having migraines again. Long story short, before August of this year, I probably hadn't had a migraine in like 6 years. And before that, I think it was like 3 years. And what I'm learning from it, I probably had like 4 or 5 in the last month and a half, is that it's triggered by me not eating and exerting too much energy. The last 2 times, I have not eaten, worked out, migraine. So I have to get better. I strongly believe that going vegan has made the issue more prominent.
It has been like a season of change.
Exactly. So I think it's the external changes, the internal changes that are going on. Have to do better at eating more consistently.
And until then, you'll get these text messages, girl.
Until then, I get the text messages. I will say, the last 2 days though, I ate before I got the text message.
All right.
But
I'll turn them off in January.
I'll just do them.
We'll see how you do. I may turn them off in January. Maybe I'll turn them off in January 2022. Who knows?
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Coincidentally, reminding you to eat reminds me to eat because I am guilty of it. I just don't have the same adverse effects as you do,
Right.
physically speaking. But I also won't eat today. I think I ate right before you got over here, so
That was like
3, 4 o'clock. Yeah, I understand, to the point where for the first time in a long time, my stomach did not growl and scream. It was like, hey, girl, sis, ma'am, what's good? So I ate right before you came.
Things in here.
Yeah. Remembering to eat is probably, it's the hardest thing for me. I've gotten to the point where I can consistently remind myself to drink water, I cannot consistently remind myself to eat though. For some reason, it just.
And that's crazy.
If I'm in the full, that's worse though, because if I'm in the full swing of doing what I'm doing, I'm smelling food, I'm tasting things. So I think, and everyone who actually cooks, like, or has cooked a big meal or cooks consistently knows this, when you're done, you're just not hungry. You've been smelling things, you've been tasting things, and if I do want to eat, I don't eat this because I've been tasting it from start to finish, and now I'm over it.
And I feel like as you taste stuff, you kind of get to a point where your body has something, and so it's like, oh, it's not that. Like, you know, when you like hungry, which is like either it's too late, or at least it's happens to me. If I'm hungry and it's too late, and I'm like, I don't want to eat a lot, let me just eat something to knock the hunger off.
Yeah.
If you tasting stuff, you're just doing that over and over.
True.
So
it's like,
once you get done, it's like, yeah.
It's like when I worked in a restaurant, right? We work these 12, 14-hour shifts, and our adrenaline's running, and like you bang out a Saturday night shift, and y'all were so busy and it's crazy, and then you clean up and you're exhausted, and you have your shift beer, if you're legal. You have your shift beer, and it's like a thing, you hang out, and then you go home, and it's now 2 a.m. and you're starving.
This is the hardest decision. When you lay down.
Oh, and you get hungry after you've laid down.
Do I go to sleep? I'm exhausted.
Or do I eat?
Or do I eat?
Because you know tomorrow you're not going to want to eat first thing in the morning.
That's the hardest
I agree.
decision. Usually I choose to eat.
I usually choose sleep.
Really?
I usually just go to bed. I'm like, screw it, I'm not getting up.
I can't go to sleep though. Then
My thing is that I sit there and think about what I want to eat at that point and what I can actually get. And given where we live, unfortunately, it's the annoying thing about California. Like, after 10 o'clock in California, your options severely limited.
Last but not least, confessions.
These are her confessions.
And this, I said this in the first week, so this is nothing new. Over the past 5 weeks, it has been a lot of trial and error and figuring out where I'll land in this whole thing. Because if you remember, it started one random Sunday night after watching a Netflix documentary. And the next day, I was like, poof,
Began. Began.
And it has slowly just molded itself into limited dairy pescatarian. Sounds so. All it means is that I couldn't go all the way vegan because dairy. And I love seafood, so pescatarian. But I feel good about the compromise, about the balance, because I do want to wean myself off of dairy, but it is going to be a slow process. Hence, limited dairy. And seafood just cannot go away. I feel like of the meat proteins, it's on the lighter side of things.
For sure.
It will still give me the, health benefits, blah, blah.
Scallops, you can see
Crabs. So long. I was thinking about
scallops, crabs.
I'm gonna go get some scallops.
Salmon.
I had a salmon burger earlier. Ooh, I forgot that. So I found this salmon burger at Trader Joe's, and it was really good. Actually, I think I like it better than salmon burgers I've had because it felt more salmon.
Is it like a frozen thing?
Okay. And the salmon burger was like I said, very salmony, meaning that when I cooked it, it looked like there was salmon in it versus just like breading.
It tastes more like salmon than filler.
Yeah. Yes. If you articulate.
Well, Trader Joe's has some good stuff.
Trader Joe's has some really good stuff.
I'm a part of this Facebook group called Black Girls in Trader Joe's.
Oh, I followed them on Instagram.
They literally stopped me in Trader Joe's and were like, "Oh my God, you should join the group." And they were so nice. Thank you.
Did they have a table?
And it was great. No. They were just there. It was two black girls there shopping, and their man said B-I-T-J, and she was like, "Excuse me, I really like Trader Joe's. You should join." And I joined, and it's so cute. I love it so much.
I didn't know they had a Facebook group.
It's cute, and it's good for me for when I want small things for myself. Typically, it's not things I can use for clients because it's things that are made all the way through, and I When I have clients with restrictions, I feel better making everything myself from scratch. But for myself, I'm like, yes, what is this? Finished still? Can I microwave it? Thanks.
So yeah, that's where we're gonna land.
Okay.
This limited dairy, pescatarian thing.
I feel that.
I'm gonna go get all of these
You should.
to incorporate them and just keep learning and keep sharing what I learned from smart people like I.
Smart people like me. I only know food things. Please don't ask me anything else. I don't bake. I don't do math. I am not a vegan expert. I don't do non-kitchen conversion math. I am not a vegan expert. The only thing I have to offer is really tasty food and like my house is vegan. But other than that, I have nothing to offer.
The really tasty food includes vegan things.
Yeah, I have a few vegan things in my arsenal, you know.
Well, thank you for joining me. This one,
Thank you for having me.
I'm gonna make it.
Yay.
I'll just bring her for one.
It's fun. I'm so happy to be here on the Kendra Green Realty YouTube.
I will add all of her information below, so make sure you follow her on Instagram. I will add links to all the things that we talked about, the products that we talked about. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye, guys.
Subscribe. Is it over there?
I think it's over there.
Subscribe.